name is Shalmit Nasser, and I oversee Alpha in Pakistan. I am also part of lots of things at our local church, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm getting married in 2 months, so that's very excited and looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to hear just what's happening in your personal lives. And I want to make sure I get this question right. You immigrated from Canada, from Pakistan, when you were 18 years old. Even though you grew up in a Christian home, you had a Christian background, it wasn't until you came to Canada where you really had to rediscover your faith and get grounded as well. Many young people who come from other countries really don't have choices. Their family makes that decision for them to come to Canada, and they're coming to a new country. They have to find a new identity, new culture, new way of life. There's so much newness that's happening in their lives. There's so much, their world has been turned upside down in a way. But one of the things that I loved, just as we were talking earlier, what are some of the unique challenges to immigrant youth face when it comes to owning their faith and finding purpose in a new cultural context? That's your story, and we'd love to hear it.
I think they're just seeing so much diversity in the nation of Canada. I feel like there's so many immigrants that have gone through that transition. And I've seen it just not in myself, but a lot of other young adults and youth. And so one of the big things that I would say that they come with this baggage of sacrifice that their family made with a lot of expectations, not just from the people around them, but also from themselves, because they want to prove themselves, just because they come into this land that offers so many opportunities, and so they want to grab everything. Also, they're going through these immigration things of paperwork and like all these things, and so they get into a place where they kind of lose their own identity for what God has called them. And so for me, it took me a while to discover it, because when I moved to Canada, my goal was to become this businesswoman who would be owning all these companies, and I got connected to a local church where I did internship, and that grounded me immediately. That changed my heart, and it made me like feel like I'm called to ministry. And I feel like there's so many people around us, especially immigrants, that have all these questions of why are we even here? What is God doing in our life? And so those are the moments sometimes they get caught into what the world is offering them and what the culture is offering them. Also, there's so many cultures that they have to follow through, right?
Yeah.
Their back home culture, their family culture, and the culture that Canada is offering them. And so in the midst of all of that, you lose who you are. And so it took me a while to understand that. And the moment I understood it, I said yes to God's will. That changed my entire life. I got this peace and comfort that I am not here to follow what the world is offering me, but I'm going to follow the culture of the Bible, the culture of truth. And like anyone else, like you guys were mentioning, I had all these why questions. Why do I even exist here? Like, God, what was here? Like, why am I even here? I have all these things that I'm doing. I was in school, I'm doing Bible school, I'm doing business school, I'm doing all these jobs and stuff. There was no satisfaction. I'm just running and I'm thriving, but there was no peace and comfort. And I feel like there's so many young adults that go through that. But the moment they say yes to God's will, and there are people that answer their questions and answer their curiosity, God just meets them. There's conviction that comes through that.
Wow.
But I've seen a lot of people like literally saying, like lots of leaders like you answering all those questions and bringing salvation. And a lot of immigrants are now serving in the churches.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I get a chance with Alpha to travel the country to see what God is doing in young people from the smallest towns to the most remote places and the biggest cities. And God is calling young people. Your story is God called your family here. Yeah. God initiated that call back to him, but I also believe God is calling young people into ministry as well. Can we just lead in for just a moment this incredible call to him, this invitation to just lean into Jesus and encounter his love? You leaned in and also experienced this call to ministry. Can you just take a moment, maybe each of you, what you're seeing and hearing as young people experience Jesus when it comes to maybe even being called into vocational ministry? Yeah, what are you seeing? Like, I mean, with young people, immigrant young people, even coming to Canada, do you see there's a call of God on their life as well?
I do feel like there's a huge call of God on people's life. There's so many leaders. There's so many, even people that are in their schools and universities. God is calling them. They're coming to churches, and they have all these leaders that are literally serving them. And I do believe God, there is a revival coming in them.
Yeah, there is.
Just the moment, I feel like this is the generation that is the most curious generation. And some people see it as a rebellion, that they're questioning back. But I do see it as a moment where their curiosity turns into hunger. And the moment that hunger changes into conviction, they are ready to serve God with all their heart. And that's what happened to me as well. So, yeah.
For you, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Why don't you stay with us? We have more to come.